Meet Python, your coding friend. Python is like a helpful assistant that can automate tasks on your computer. It's a programming language which is like a set of instructions that computers understand. Just like we may use English or Spanish to communicate, we use programming languages to tell computers what to do. Python is known for being easy to learn and use, even for beginners. Think of Python as a recipe book for your computer. Each recipe is a set of instructions that the computer follows step by step. These instructions are written in Python syntax, which is like the grammar and vocabulary of the language. By writing Python code, you're essentially creating your own recipes for the computer to follow. Python is used in many different fields, from web development to data analysis to artificial intelligence. It's a versatile language that can be used to create a wide range of applications. Whether you're interested in building websites, analyzing data, or automating tasks, Python is a valuable skill to have. Learning Python can open up a world of possibilities. It's a skill that is in high demand, and it can lead to exciting career opportunities. Plus, it's incredibly rewarding to see your code come to life and make things happen on your computer. You might just surprise yourself with what you can create. The building blocks of Python syntax, objects, and functions. Let's break down some basic Python concepts. First up, syntax. In Python, syntax is like the rules of grammar for writing code. It is how you structure your instructions for the computer to understand. For instance, you use specific symbols like the equal sign for assigning values to variables. Next, we have objects. Everything in Python is an object. Think of it as a bit of information. This information could be a number, a piece of text, or even a more complex data structure. Each object has a type, which tells Python what kind of information it's dealing with. Functions within Python are like mini programs within your main program. They are blocks of code designed to perform specific tasks. You can think of them as handy tools. You give them a name, and when you need to perform that task, you simply call the function by its name. These building blocks work together to make your code functional. Syntax ensures your code is written correctly for Python to follow and interpret. Objects store and manage the information your code works with. Functions provide reusable blocks of code, making your programs more organized and efficient. Attributes and methods. Customizing your Python objects. Now let's talk about attributes and methods. These are like characteristics or features and actions associated with your objects. An attribute is a piece of information that describes an object. For example, if you have an object representing a car, its attributes might include its color, make, and model. Methods, on the other hand, are actions that an object can perform. Using the car example, methods could be actions like accelerate, brake, or turn. They define the behavior of your objects. Think of it like this. Attributes are like adjectives describing the object, while methods are like verbs or doing words representing actions the object can take. Understanding attributes and methods is important for working with Python objects effectively. They allow you to access and provide the information stored within objects to control how these objects behave within your code. Initialization and constructors setting the stage. When you create a new object in Python, you often need to give it some initial values for its attributes. This process is called initialization. It's like setting up the object with its starting characteristics. Constructors are special methods in Python that handle this initialization process. They run automatically when you create a new object and take care of setting up the object's initial state. Think of them as the setup crew preparing the stage before a performance. Constructors ensure that your objects are created with the correct initial or starting values, making your code more reliable and predictable. By understanding initialization and constructors, you gain more control over how your objects are created and set up, leading to more robust and efficient Python code. Classes, the blueprints of your Python code. In Python, a class is like a blueprint for creating objects. It defines the structure and behavior of a particular type of object. Think of it like a cookie cutter. You use the same cutter, the class, to create multiple cookies, the objects, with the same basic shape and characteristics. The class defines the attributes and methods that objects created from it will have. For example, a dog class might have attributes like breed and name and methods like bark and fetch. Classes are essential for organizing your code and creating reusable components. They allow you to model real-world entities and concepts in your programs. By defining classes, you create a structured and organized way to represent and work with different types of data and entities within your Python programs. Troubleshooting your Python code tips and tricks. Even experienced programmers encounter errors in their code. Don't worry, it's part of the learning process. Here are a few tips for troubleshooting your Python code. First, read the error messages carefully. Python usually provides helpful messages that pinpoint the line of code causing the problem and give you a clue about what went wrong. Check for spelling errors. Make sure your capital and lowercase letters are in the correct place. Look for things like brackets being incomplete, spaces out of place. Check that your indentations are correct and that you have used the tab key rather than repeatedly hitting the spacebar. Second, break down your code into smaller, manageable chunks. This makes it easier to isolate the source of the error. Third, you may try to use the print function strategically. By printing out the values of variables at different points in your code, you can trace the flow of execution and identify where things are going wrong. If it is appropriate, copy and